Hi, everybody. Dr. Friedman here, and wow, what a week it's been! And it's only Wednesday. We had Dillin, Apelyan, and James D'Amato, both of One Shot, here as a compliment. If last week was about journalism and things around criticism and that part of the space of communicating about games to the public, this week we talked about podcasting and actual play and also just the work that these forums do to teach folks and give folks new and exciting ways into the hobby. I can't think of many folks that I'd rather have than James and Dillin to come to the stack of games on my shelves, pull whatever it is they want, and then bring it to the students for discussion. And then pick one and play it on Wednesday. I'm starting to think that you could build a whole 15-week semester just doing that. Highly skilled work of improv, but a girl can dream, right? And what was really interesting is, unlike my meetings with Meg A, where I was pulling basically everything she and Vincent had made that could get my little grubby mitts on, this was designers looking at the work of other designers and being really appreciative. There's another video here on the channel that I'll link that just pulls out the discussion that we had about Starcross that really transformed the way that I think about that game and the possibility of having students play it or more people that I can play it with. In addition, we also may make available on Patreon the full class experience so that you can get a sense of just what a great and wide-ranging discussion of both their game designs as well as the game designs they really appreciate. But I want to zoom in very quickly on the game that we chose to play, and it's not especially surprising that it's Fall of Magic. Deernicorn games are catnip. They're irresistible. I brought this game and fake played it when I recorded an interview for CNBC last year. Or, God, year before. What is time? This is a tricky game to play in class. It wants hours of your time. Not a ton of hours of your time, but more than 75 minutes. And it wants just 4 players. 5 if you, unlike me, have the cool extra Fox coin expansion. And if you have a lead on that, get in the comments maybe. It's a beautiful object, and the reason why it lends itself really beautifully to capturing the imagination of anyone is a 5-foot scroll that is double-sided, that you are literally traversing as you tell the story. It's quick to start, and it's rich with what James and Dillin do best, which are suggestive, leading prompts that give scope for imagination, but also a direction to players' thinking. And it was astonishing to me. Y'all, it is past the middle of the semester. We are in the thick of exams and anxiety and various forms of not enough sleep. I think my students, all 4 of them, have collectively had enough sleep for one human being. They're tired. They're stressed. And yet, this was magical. I took notes so that I could do the same thing my students are doing this weekend, which is draft a public-facing version of the notes that I've been making. We're going to workshop those next week in a very traditional how to write about literature kind of way, even though we're experimenting with form. And what struck me again and again is how many of them don't identify as creative, said they were at their lowest ebb of creativity, and yet couldn't stop talking so much that we only got to 2 sites on this map. No one answered in a single sentence. And that was because, one, this game lent itself to that, but also because James and Dillin and I, who were not playing, were modeling that way of asking the follow-up question that gives a little bit of constraint and a lot of space to go. What is the thing about you that, since you've said you are beautiful, what is the non-traditional thing that makes you beautiful? Why is your father disappointed in you? Etc., etc. And as James had talked to the students about on Monday, it really was revelatory to all of us, the different things, the little quotidian details about each other that they discovered. What animals you think are magical. How your hometown inspires the way that you think about the spaces that your character is moving through. Man! I think role-playing games might be fun, y'all. So it was a really good week of a visit. They'll head out tomorrow. And we didn't get to everything we wanted to do. So James and I may get together on Zoom and do the one thing that James wishes that we did do, which is walk through how to write a set of prompts to expand something like Fall of Magic. Because once you know how to do that, a whole world of design choices really open up. And James and Dillin were really intentional in knowing that we are in the moment where we are pivoting towards the unessay, towards students taking what they've experienced and learned and observed and turning it into kind of distillations of their thoughts and their understanding in a form of their choosing. I love that so many of my colleagues have opened up for them the idea that they too could be game designers. That's a wonderful thing. So next week, we are practicing and workshopping writing together. And then we're going to be looking into the different resources for how to research this stuff. This is an interdisciplinary field. This is a new media in the grand scheme of things, but the same skills do apply. And then it's spring break and hopefully a time for rest and renewal. And for me, probably a lot of writing. And students will be getting ready an annotated bibliography of a few sources that they think are going to be useful for their unessay. And my job is to provide the safety net to say, whoa, that one maybe isn't as good as this one could be. Or, I don't know that this is particularly reliable. Or this is just too much. Or not enough. It happens. And we'll also get started on our next great adventure after spring break, which is reading Die, which is, of course, the focus of a lot of my own research these days as I wind down the actual playbook and wind up the next things that are to come. But yeah, so more content will be over on Patreon in different ways in the coming days. More stuff will be here, and I hope you'll join us. I hope you'll put stuff in the comments about your curiosities and questions. Certainly, this is a really exciting time in our semester, and I can't wait to see what comes of it. In the meantime, take care, and I'll talk to you soon.